Hi friends, ERIKATESLA here. Welcome to my channel. If you are new and if you're returning, it is so good to have you back. Today, I'm really excited to talk to you about a fun little road trip we're gonna go on, okay? We're gonna go on Route 66, okay? And this is the latest offering from Nomad. Here is the palette itself here with this beautiful artwork that you could see that shows you different stops along America's most favorite route. So if you are a road tripper, cross-country tripper, RVer, this palette might be appealing to you. And even if you haven't done any of those things, I'm going to just show you guys this color story because it is really pretty. It's versatile, it's interesting, and we have a very good mix of mattes and shimmers in this palette. So this palette, as of the time I'm filming, has become available today on the Nomad Cosmetics website. And I'm going to pull up the website for you guys so I can tell you how much this one is going to cost because it is available now. This one is retailing for $49. So if you decide to pick this up, make sure you use a code. I have a code, Erika, that will save you 10%. It is non-commissionable. I don't make money, but you can save money. So I would recommend you use a code if you're going to pick this one up. And it's such a cool palette. The theme of this one is a road trip through colors. And I would agree that it is a breathtaking blend of warm hues and earthy classics. There's 10 mattes, 4 shimmers, and 4 bright as neon shimmers. So you have kind of more the subdued shimmers, and I say the term subdued lightly, but then you have the ones that are like really brilliant. So I have an example of that on my lids today. And then this, as always, is 100% plastic free, and there's no talc, no gluten, cruelty free, and vegan. Nomad always supports a cause, so this one is supporting the Nature Conservancy. This is an organization that has conservation efforts. So sorry, I was like looking that up while I was talking to you guys. So this palette, part of the proceeds are going to support the Nature Conservancy. And if you have shopped Nomad before, you know that every location, they try to support a local cause or a related cause. And so I think it's such a cool way for them to honor the brand and honor the locations, because a lot of brands will capitalize on you know, signature locations or cultures and not always support or give back to that. So I always appreciate that Nomad does that, and it's so cute. They gave us a little postcard here. I do believe you get the postcard if you decide to buy the palette early enough, and it has such a cute little license plate theme over here. And then last but not least, we have the very pretty box. So here's the actual box that matches the actual palette itself, and it has like the color guide that tells you about the names and everything, and the destination from Illinois to California, the Road of Dreams. So cute. So with that being said, guys, that's a little bit of information about the palette. Like I said, by the time I publish this, the palette should still be available. If it's not, there should be a restock at some point, because Nomad usually keeps their palettes available for at least a year. Sometimes they bring them back if there's enough of a demand. So if this isn't the time for you, do not fret, but stay tuned and make sure that you, you know, keep an eye out for it if you're interested in it at some point. With that being said, I want to get into some swatches that I did of the palette, and I'm going to pop the swatches up and just talk a little bit about the color story and what I observed from the palette. I have not seen any reviews or anything because I wanted to just absorb my own thoughts around this palette and how I see it. So as you can see, it has a beautiful combination of warm tones and, as they describe it, earthy tones. So there's a pretty good amount of browns in here. We have this Monger Moss shade, which is kind of like this pretty coppery shade. And the shimmers in this palette, guys, they're very bright and smooth and impactful. And then you have your earthy matte shades that are more into like the green and teal and borderline greeny yellow shade. that shade End of the Trail. And all of the shades I found to be very pigmented for me. Now, if you have deeper skin and you're you know, wearing pastels, I would say these are definitely going to work, but you just make sure you have like a good base for your eyelids. But overall, I would say the color story is very versatile. It's very pretty, very much fits into the theme. So if this is something that is interesting to you, I would definitely check it out. So those were the swatches. I'm going to go ahead and get into the looks. So the first thing you're going to see, I did 2 looks, one on each eye, and those were just more like a demo of just how the colors work. So I didn't really get too much into the details of putting on like liners and lashes. I just really wanted to walk you through the process and the colors and the different finishes. And then finally, I'm going to show you how I created this particular look, which has a little bit more, I guess, zhuzh to it, just in the sense that I did do liner and lashes. And this is usually how I like to do my looks. I usually like to add some additional finishing touches to the look, and all about personal preference. Like, you honestly could do whatever you like, but I wanted to try and use as many of the shades as possible to give you guys an idea of what this palette can do if you're interested in it. But you can absolutely do like a one and done or a 2 and through look and be perfectly happy. So with that being said, let's get into the looks, and then I will be sharing my initial thoughts and wrap up the video. So go ahead and keep watching. I'm going to start out with the warmer shades in the palette, because I feel like this palette obviously has very distinctly like warm tones and cooler tones, and I really do like that mix. I may not get to every shade, but I'm going to try to do my best to create a look on this side over here using these warmer tones and 1 or 2 of the shimmers. So I'm going to go in first of all with Road of Dreams, which is this very nice neutral shade that's a little bit lighter than my skin tone. Like, if you can see, like it's kind of tan in the pan, but obviously on my skin tone it's presenting as like more of a lighter shade. So I'm gonna actually put this on my lid to set my crease. This would actually be like a really good shade for just like doing purely matte looks. Like, I could see myself using this on the inner corner. Next, I want to go in with the shade On the Road again. It's this medium brown, the shade right here, and we're going to put that in the crease as well. I really like the shade Road of Dreams, that paler shade, because that is really nice when I have concealer or something that's going to crease a little bit. That's actually just like a really good shade for like setting the colors. But this shade On the Road again, I'm just using to add some depth and contour to the crease area. And if I haven't mentioned it yet, I'm using my E35 brush. So this is a little bit bigger than Sigma's E25. This is a fluffy blending brush that I'm going in with in the crease area. And a lot of times, guys, I will use the same brush for a look. I know like you can get into using multiple brushes for a look, so it really just depends on what I'm trying to accomplish. But for this, I'm just trying to show you guys how the shades look. So as you can see, that is adhering really nicely. I did use a concealer, and then I topped it with the I think it's the Smashbox primer. It's the Smashbox eyeshadow primer, and it's one that I've had for a while. I'm pretty sure they still make it. So this is just that crease color going in there. And then I'm going to go into Cadillac Ranch, which is a dark, deep brown, and it's kind of on the cooler side. So while the palette itself looks like it's distinctly got warm and cool shades on the 2 sides of it, if you were to split it in half, I would say what's nice is that you do have a shade here that is kind of a neutral but cool shade. And this is going to go on the outer V. And this is the kind of shade that I would usually use to do like a smoky look. And it's going in really nicely. As you could see, I am tapping the color in to make sure it gets in between all the little folds of the skin. And for those of you with textured lids, you can appreciate that technique, I am sure. So I'm just blending that in. So I usually like tap it and blend it. And I'm not too worried about being messy along the edges because I'll usually just like go in with some concealer and clean things up, and then it looks pretty decent. But again, we're just doing a little demo here. And there's a shade in particular I am very excited about. There's a couple of shades in here, shimmer shades I'm excited about. So I'm gonna grab a different blending brush for the crease area, and I'm gonna be using this rougher brush. This is the 16. It's like a bigger brush, but I wanna go in with this shade Gemini Giant here. If you can see that. And I'm gonna put this on this part of the crease. Like I'm gonna use it to soften up the deeper shades on the outer part of the crease. And then I'm gonna also pull in another shade called Go West, because this is pretty. It's pulling a little bit paler on my skin than I thought. And keep in mind, guys, like this is like my very first time using this palette, so I'm just getting myself acquainted with it. So I'm gonna actually put in some Go West here, which is like a more rusty shade. It's a little bit deeper, and I think that's kind of more what I'm going for. And I'll say the mattes are like super smooth and blending really nicely. It's not getting muddy. It feels really nice going on. I think it's a combination of the brush and the formulation of the palette, and that is really, really lovely. And it's giving me my blend that I'm been looking forward to having. And I'm going to go back with my other brush, my Sigma brush, and kind of blend the shades back together and re-establish some color in this area. But it's adhering really well. I'm pretty jazzed with myself because I decided to use primer today. That's not something that I always manage to do. And then I'm going to go in with this shade Monger Moss. It's this pretty orangey fiery shimmer shade. I'm just going to take my ring finger and swatch that on there. And look, that's like giving me some orange. And I'm going to put this on the lid. And how pretty is that? That is a really beautiful shade. And I'm leaving some space here because I'm going to put something else there too. But how lovely is that color? That's a very smooth shade. This is a really nice shimmer. And then I'm gonna go in, guys, with a smaller brush. And I have another referee here. I'm just grabbing brushes that I happen to have by my side. And I really want to try this shade Comet 2. It's this pretty gold shade. And I'm gonna take that. And it's a little chunkier, at least it looks on the brush. So let me tap it off and just put it in here. And the reason I'm using my brush instead of a finger is because I have a little dip that I don't think is apparent if you're just looking at me, but you know, I can tell all of the 3D surfaces of my face. So I'm putting that on there, and that's really pretty. It's giving glittery, but this isn't glitter. It just feels like it's bigger pieces, if you will, of the shadow itself. Like it's not as creamy as the shade Monger Moss, but I could see this being like a really pretty topper shade. And I'm gonna go back in with some Monger Moss and like just go back and forth and like blend these shades together because I think they look really pretty together. And so I'm just going back and forth between the two. And I think that that looks really, really pretty. I'm gonna maybe turn my light down a little bit so it's not like so blinding. I think you can get a better idea of the colors there. Okay, so that is the beginning of one look right there. Usually I would do lashes and liner and the whole thing, but I want to just give you guys a demo with a few more options. So I'm going to start on my other eye and pull in some shades from this other side of the palette, like these greens and blues. Like these look amazing. And I'm going to probably use a similar technique. So I'm going to pull in a blending brush. I have a Rephr 1 brush here, and I'm going to start out with the shade Main Street America, and I'm going to put that in the crease. And this is a very pretty, you know, minty shade. And this reminds me of some quads that Nomad came out with. Well, it reminds me, this shade reminds me of a couple of colors, and I'd have to like go dig through my palettes. But this is reminding me of the Nomad Air collection a little bit. There was one of the palettes, I can't remember which airport it was, but it was airport themed. And it had kind of like these really pretty teals and greens. And then before that, there was an older collection that they had come out with a while ago. I don't think it's available anymore, but they had this really pretty quad with like a chocolatey brown and like this kind of minty green shade. It actually looks like the shade Roy's Diner here. But the formulation, I mean, they've come a far way with it. Like, not that it was bad, but because I liked those quads. I liked those quads so much. And they're continuing to like make it even like better. And this is kind of reminding me of that. So I'm going to go in next with the shade Scenic Byway. I'm also going to layer that in the crease. I'm just using the same brush, and I'm going to pull that a little bit lower and blend it in with the shade Main Street America to give me like a little greeny action here. And then I'm going to pull in the shade called Blue Whale. It has an imprint of Oklahoma on it, which is super cute. I have never been to Oklahoma. If you are watching this and you are from Oklahoma, I would love to hear from you. It's a place I've never been. I feel like I've heard good things about barbecue there for some reason, so I would definitely be down to eat barbecue. But if you are from Oklahoma and there's cool stuff to do, please let us know in the comments below. My husband and I were planning a cross-country drive at one point, and it never materialized. I feel like you need to be the kind of person with like the fortitude to follow through, but at the time we were thinking about it, it was such a fun idea because our son was in 4th grade, and they have like this really cool, the national parks have like this really cool like park pass for like 4th graders. I don't know if they're still doing that or not, but it was such a cool idea. So I want to pull in a little bit of this shade called End of the Trail and just put that here on the outer perimeter of the eye, like just kind of like blend it with this other shade because I just think it looks like a cool color. I'm really liking these mattes, guys. Like, they're really pretty. They're really pretty. And I'm just blending it here at this edge. And you guys, it's so hard. I will say these shimmers are so pretty. So it's kind of hard to pick one that I really love. But I'm really gravitating towards Rest Haven. So I might do Rest Haven and Blue Swallow because look at that. That's such a pretty shade. And these two colors together, okay, I grew up a Seahawks fan, guys. I'm originally from Seattle. And it's just, you know, I know usually the team colors are a little bit more vibrant, but I really, oh, I love this. It's going in. It's going all the way in. And see, I should use my brush because when I use my fingers, like I get that little fallout. But that is really, really pretty. And I'm gonna take a random brush. This is from the Little Mermaid collection from Sigma. And I'm gonna take Rest Haven and like do this. I'm gonna pull it in. It's just that when you use your finger, you get way more impact and color payoff. And sometimes you also just need to switch between a finger and a brush. It all really just depends. Everybody's eyes are different, right? Okay, that was my doorbell. We're back. So now I want to go in. Oh my gosh, this is really hard. This is really hard because I'm going to tell you these shades are so pretty. I'm actually going to put a little bit more of Rest Haven here. And I'm sorry for my phone buzzing and beeping, guys. I am just like an in-demand person. What can I say? Okay, I've got kids, so the phone has to be nearby. I think I want to take the shade Blue Swallow. It's this gorgeous blue. Like, this was one of the first shades that just like kind of I was drawn to. And I'm going to kind of put it on this part of the lid to create a little shimmer ombre situation, and that is so pretty. It's looking so great layered on top of the mattes that I placed there, and you could see like the color is just very, very rich. And one more fun thing I do want to do, I'm gonna see if I have like a slightly smaller brush, and I'm just gonna take a little bit of this shade Marsh Bridge that's here. Okay, it's this like almost like icy blue color, and I'm gonna take that and do one of these, like just add a little. When I put a shade right here, I like to think of that as like my flare. What is that movie? Have you guys ever seen that movie Office Space from like the late 90s, and Jennifer Aniston's character had to wear flare? So for me, this is my eyeshadow flare, but I'm doing this voluntarily. And I just think that that looks super cool. So those are 2 looks. I just threw some colors on, guys. And so we have a little bit of a warm look. We have a cool look. And I think that these colors look really good. And I don't know, you tell me which side is your favorite of the 2. We have this side here, and then we have the warmer side here. What shades would you go for? So I'm gonna do one more look for you guys where I actually complete the look with like the lashes and all the things, the little, you know, accoutrements that I usually like to add to the end of a look. But I just wanted to put something really quickly up for you guys, giving you an idea of the options that you have with this Route 66 palette. So I will be back after I take this off, and we're gonna get into one more eye look together. I am back with bare eyes, and I'm gonna go in to the Route 66 palette with a 3rd look for you guys. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to have something on my eyes, but I aspire to be brave enough to do a 2 looks 1 palette situation, or a video rather, and then go out about my day. And so since I do have stuff to do, I need to go to the store, I just want to wear 1 look. So we're going to get into this palette, and I'm very into this pink shade. So I want to do something that pulls that pink shade in. And so I'm going to once again start with this shade Road of Dreams and blend this over the lid to set the concealer. I redid the makeup. I didn't put a primer this time, so we'll see how that works out for me. I was just trying to get to this 3rd look for you guys, and I'm just blending that all over the lid. And as you could see, this is going on really nicely. Like, honestly, this is bright enough and eye lifting enough where if I just wanted to go into the crease with the deeper shade and just have a matte look, I could totally do that. And I can actually kind of preview that a little bit. I'm going to go back into this brown shade On the Road again, and I'm going to put this in the crease, and I'm dabbing this in here, and I'm going to dab and blend this into the eye look. And I'm going to create a crease, a little crease and contour situation. And you guys, this palette, I'm very excited about this one. Nomad has been launching some gorgeous, gorgeous palettes. I do have the Princess one, the Fairy Tale palette, and I want to do more looks with that one. Around the time that I got that, though, I just had so much going on in my personal life, so I haven't really given that one as much attention as I would like to. But I've been like so grateful, guys, to be on Nomad's PR and have the opportunity to play with their formulas and their color stories and their themes. And I think it's, to me, a very fun brand. I love that it's based on travel, because if you don't have the time or means to get somewhere, it's like having a little slice of that place that you would like to go. And I'm looking forward to some other exciting destinations. Now, that's just me putting that in the crease there. I'm gonna pull a little bit of color up. And I'm just looking at this, guys, and I'm just like thinking to myself, like, what do I want to put in the outer V that I think will look nice with this pink shade? Because that's really what my goal is. So I'm gonna go back in with the shade Cadillac Ranch and dab that on the outer V. And I like to make my looks colorful, but also wearable for me. And what that means is going to be different for everyone. I think sometimes when I hear the term wearable, or I use the term wearable, it can mean something different for everyone, because people feel different levels of comfortability depending on their style. So for me, a wearable color situation usually entails a decent amount of neutral colors with a pop of a brighter color. And that could be a bright eyeshadow, it could be a colorful eyeliner, it could be a colorful mascara. It really just depends on what your personal style is, what you're comfortable with. There's really no wrong answer, because I don't want anybody to feel like, oh, I'm limiting what's wearable to just my definition of that. So when I say that, that's really what I mean, is it really just depends. So for me, wearable would be, do I feel comfortable going out to the school pickup line with a little pizzazz on the lids? Or do I want to go full on like David Bowie? Like, that's gonna look different for everybody. So this is just like a very basic neutral look so far, but we're gonna go in with this shade that's called El Rancho. It's this pink here. Okay, look at that. That's so pretty. And we're gonna put that on, and it is bright. And actually, it's kind of going with my nail polish a little bit. This is a Clionadh nail polish, and I'm going to put the name of this down below. I actually got this shade at was it at Creators and Friends? I think I picked this up at Creators and Friends. But it's such a pretty eyeshadow shade, going back to the palette. And I'm just tapping this in. Like, look at that. That is stunning. So this is the shade El Rancho. And one shade I didn't get to use in the other two looks that I do want to pull in is this shade Gateway Arch. That looks so pretty. Did I use that one? I might have used that one. Oh no, I didn't use that one. I used Marsh Bridge. I'm gonna pull in some Gateway Arch, and I'm going to pull in a flat brush that I have here from the brand What's Up Beauty. They have amazing brushes. They released, I think, a new bronzer situation. They have really nice brushes, so we're just gonna dab that, and I'm going to tap that in here. And these two colors together, and this is the thing, right? Like, it's just so fun to see where these combinations can take you. I've seen some really pretty looks with this palette so far, and I love seeing other people's artistry, other people's interpretation, like how you can take the same palette, the same color story, and no matter whose hands it lands in, they're going to have their own ideas of how to make those colors work. So I think these colors are really pretty together, and Gateway Arch is super pretty. It's almost like this light, soft, minty green, and it's working so prettily with El Rancho, which I'm gonna tap back on here and reestablish some pink dominance over here. And then I want to go in, I'm going to go in with a bit of my Estee Lauder liner, guys, and I'm just going to, I'm going to line my waterline. This is the Estee Lauder Smoke and Brighten Kajal eyeliner duo, and I like this because I can either go light or dark with the waterline, but today I'm going to go with the darker shade, and I'm just going to line in here with this black shade. And it might seem harsh, but I do have an idea. I think I have a little bit of an idea of what I'm going to do. I think it's going to work out, so do not fret. We're going to go in with this little BK Beauty brush, the 204 brush, and I'm going to pull in some of the On the Road again. It's this shade right here, and I'm going to smoke out that bottom lid a little bit. And yes, there's a little bit of that black liner, but this is hopefully going to soften that with this little bit of smoke here. And I am going to do lashes at the end of this, guys, so I think it's going to help pull everything together. Right now, unfortunately, I'm one of those people, I do feel a little bit naked without eyelashes. I do have autoimmune issues, so sometimes your friend here will literally have eyelashes fall out, so they're not always like consistent for me. And I'm going to clean that up a little bit because I pulled that a little bit too far down. And then I'm going to go, and you know what I did, guys, while I was talking, I wasn't paying attention. I pulled in Cadillac Ranch, and that's why this got dark all of a sudden, but that's okay. We're going to blend this out with a little bit of On the Road again, which was my original intention. I'm going to pull a little bit of that up here to fill in some gaps. The eyeshadow process is, for me, very iterative, so you know, you can have many steps, and sometimes you just have to see where the process takes you. This is really pretty. I'm going to take a little bit of El Rancho and pull that on here on the bottom as well, on top of the brown, and see how that does there. It just gives a little pink touch to it. And I feel like once I have the lashes on, this is gonna pull everything together. But I do like this shade. It's actually cool how you can build it up and give yourself a little bit of color here to layer over the matte. And I'm gonna go in with a little bit of Gemini Giant, so that's the shade right here. And I'm gonna put that up here, guys. I'm gonna blend that up here because I feel like it's gonna give the look a little finishing touch. I'm just going in with that. It's softening the edge of the darker shades that I put in the crease. And I'm gonna be back with some liner and lashes and the rest of the face done, and then we're gonna talk about this palette. Friends, I am back, and we're gonna zoom in a little bit so you can see the finished look, the third look. So this one I would consider my more polished look, in the sense that I did do liner and lashes and a little bit of color under the lower lash line area here. So, and then of course I've done some blush and some, okay, so where was I? I had to change my battery pack. I believe I was in the middle of describing this look. So as you can see, I finished the rest of the face. For my blush, I used a ColourPop blush. This is in the shade Princess Avenue, and this is like one of their new like glowy blushes. And Angelica Nyqvist had some extras, and she was so sweet, and she was like, whoever wants one, and I took this one. So she was so kind enough to share this with us at Creators and Friends for whoever was interested. And then on the lips, I'm wearing my, I'm gonna zoom out for you guys. This is my Unearthly Cosmetics lip pencil in Cafe. This was one, I'm trying to remember, I either got it in PR at the last Creators and Friends or potentially purchased it. I think I might have gotten this in PR. Actually, no, this is a PR. This is from last Creators and Friends. It is like such a great cool tone brown. I have it swatched here for you guys so you can see. So yes, I promise I'm going to get back to the main topic of this video. So last but not least was on the lips, this shade Pink Champagne from Buxom in combination with the brown gloss. Like this lip look is a vibe for me. It's like giving me like the summery vibes plus with like the pink. And these shades are giving like a little pink and green, and for those of you who know me, that's a favorite combination of mine. But here we go. Here's the palette, guys. So as you could see, I did 3 looks. This is the last look. I'm very happy with how this turned out. I feel like the first 2 looks were really fun, super easy to do. I really just wanted to demo for you what the possibilities were. And then with this look, I really wanted to just have something that I could go out and complete my day with. And I'm happy with all 3 of the looks. So I have to say I really do like this palette a lot. I think the colors are really stunning. The formulations are beautiful. The shimmers, I think the only shimmer I didn't get to use was this shade Winslow, which looks kind of like a penny, and it's so pretty. Like this coppery shade is gonna look so pretty over one of these matte colors. So that is a future look that I can anticipate wanting to try out. But overall, guys, I have to say this palette is really, really beautiful, really nicely done, very lovely color story. In terms of Nomad's lineup, I do think that there are some colors that might be similar already in there, but if you don't have a lot of Nomad, then this is a nice one to have. This is actually a very versatile palette. I remember the Atlantic Way palette, which was the green one. Like that was like more, I won't say totally monochromatic, but it was definitely towards one color story. This one, on the other hand, you have a little bit of variety, but it's like very cohesive. Because the other palette that I'm thinking of was their Florida Keys inspired palette, and that one was like super bright, and I love bright colors. I love that that was so bright. But if you're looking for something that's in between, like this is definitely a go-to, because you have like your neutral shades, you have some very nice neutral mattes, you have some interesting shimmers, and then you have like these very pretty green shades here. So you have your pick. This one does come with a mirror. So overall, I would say I'm pretty happy with this palette. I'm so appreciative of Nomad sending it my way. If you decide to pick this up, you can use my code ERIKA to save 10%. So at the time that I'm filming this, the palette will be out. And what I love about Nomad is that you do not have to break your neck to go and get the palette. It usually stays in stock for about a year. So if you're thinking about this one, you have a little bit of time if you want to put away some funds for later, or you know, you just maybe have some other things that you're working through. You have a little bit of time. So there's no need to rush, no need to panic. But I would say when you do get the chance, get it. And if you're really excited about it, go ahead and pick this one up, because it's going to be a really great palette for the summertime. Like I'm really, like I have to stop looking at myself in the viewfinder because I'm obsessed with this shade Gateway Arch. It's so pretty. So anyway, thank you again to Nomad for sending this my way. I would love to hear your thoughts on this palette. Which of the looks I did was your favorite, or kind of more your style or inspo or color preference? I would love to hear that from you guys in the comments down below. If you haven't yet already, make sure you like this video, and please consider subscribing to my channel. I love to create makeup content here, and as I like to say, we keep it pretty chill over here. So as always, thank you for taking time out of your day to hang out with me. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.